Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efene. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Well, my friend.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rufai.
Morning.
Tundu, good morning. Ever bright and beautiful.
Thank you, Mr. Fadi.
Yes. Now, let's start with these day newspapers, Nigeria's newspaper of record. The lead story, presidential panel accepts 5-point demand of #EndSARS protesters. Protests spread to Port Harcourt, Owerri, Akure, Ibadan, Yola, Enugu, others. Soldiers assault Arise TV crew, brutalize protesters in Abuja. IG creates new unit to replace SARS. Sanwo-Olu sets up 200 million fund for victims. Yes, other newspapers are reporting this story also. The Vanguard newspaper. Buhari OK's #EndSARS protesters 5-point demand as police announce SWAT to replace SARS. Now, the Sun newspaper, Daily Sun. SARS, protesters win. SWAT is born. Federal government OK's 5-point demand. Senate asks IGP to prosecute erring officers, release detained agitators. Operatives of New Squad to undergo mental checks. Lagos sets up 200 million compensation fund for victims, while the Punch newspaper, soldiers confront protesters. NBA demands audit of SARS evildoers. Evil centers, yes, evil centers. Protesters occupy Lagos, Abuja, Oyo streets. Protests spread to Kaduna, Enugu, Rivers, others. Yes, NBA, new look NBA, vocal and vibrant again. Now, they also wading into the issues very strongly. The Daily Trust newspaper, IGP replaces SARS with SWAT. Well, above the masthead, no, just below the masthead, there's a story there. IPPIS, federal government considers ASU's request, subject UTAS to integrity test. UTAS, the software ASU is banning as an alternative. Well, at least they are talking. We hope before long they will come to a compromise and free our students so that they can return to their campuses. Now, beside the photograph, there is another story. INEC chairmanship, Yakubu's fate hangs in the balance. There is serious confusion in the commission. Senators, PDP, CSOs flay Loretta's nomination as commissioner. Yes, that's Loretta Onoshie, the president's special assistant on new media, being nominated along 3 others as INEC commissioners by Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari. Well, let's see, generating controversy, and there are already a number of persons arguing that no, that cannot be, but we'll see how it pans out. The Nigerian Tribune newspaper, IGP sets up SWAT team to fill gaps arising from dissolution of SARS. But beside the photograph, Africa's literary giant, John Pepe Clark, dies at 85 years. That's another sad one. His last publicized outing was here at Arise TV when he presented the Woman of the Decade Award to Nigeria's literary ambassador, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. That was the last publicized outing of J.P. Clark. It was organized by this day to mark the 25th anniversary of Nigeria's newspaper of records. Now, the Guardian newspaper, agitations spread nationwide. But hear this, counter-protest in Borno and Kano, whatever that means. Makinde's deputy, Oyo lawmaker, victims of brutality, join march. Now, if we just look at the foreign newspapers quickly, the Independent newspaper of UK, Starmer, that's Sir Keir Starmer, the Labour leader. Britain needs national circuit breaker. Labour calls for full lockdown of up to 3 weeks to halt virus. Unlike what the Prime Minister Boris Johnson has put in place, lockdown in selected cities, Labour is saying what we need in the UK to halt the spread of this pandemic is a national lockdown for, say, 2 or 3 weeks, then perhaps there will be some respite. But Daily Mail has another story on the COVID issue. Vaccine boss, no hope for normality till July. That's July 2021. According to that story, which is an exclusive to the Daily Mail of UK, face masks and social distancing will be needed until next summer. The head of Oxford COVID vaccine team said last night. Andrew Pollard, he said first jab could not be available until next year. And even at that, it will only be available to key groups like frontline healthcare workers. What is happening in the USA? The Wall Street Journal has the story. Court pick. Paris questions on abortion and health law. Yes, Judge Amikoni Barrett continued to field questions in that all-day long hearing yesterday. And of course, she wouldn't impose her he told senators she wouldn't impose her personal view on the law as the Supreme Court nominee sidestepped questions about abortion rights and said she isn't hostile to the Affordable Care Act and gun control. Well, Tundu will not believe her.
That's not true. No, because she wrote an opinion criticizing Chief Justice John Roberts. It's in black and white. She was dissembling.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Effendi, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Where do you stand on the Loretta Onoche nomination?
She's a politician.
So you don't think she passes the bar?
I don't know why President Buhari likes cutting controversy.
Because she's not non-partisan.
Yes, she's not a non-partisan person.
Very partisan.
But what if it can be argued? Because since you like Amy Comey Barrett, what's good for her is good for Loretta. You were arguing with me yesterday.
I know that was where you were going to.
Because you know me very well.
Well, let's assume that Onoche will rise above the board when she's appointed.
That would be a really unrealistic assumption.
Ruben, let's hear from you.
That's
Well,
unrealistic.
Yes. Two quick things. I was commenting earlier on the decision to accede to the 5-for-5 demand of the protesters. And we had talked about, what government has done and the cynicism of the people, which of the young protesters, which accounts for the continuation of the protest this morning. But there was a point we made earlier about also how, this is a process that is funded, mobilized, effectuated by the young people themselves. And Aaron, Rotus, had brought a story about Flutterwave and the Feminist Coalition putting money together. And we had said, look, the enthusiasm is illustrated by the amount of money that group has been able to put across. But somebody said when they now resorted to Bitcoin, that it wasn't $300,000 that they got within 18 hours, that the correct figure is actually about 1 million, about 300,000 naira, not dollars. So I thought it's important to correct that. But I would have loved to speak on Professor J.P. Clark.
Yeah.
He will be greatly missed, but there is no time, unfortunately. I could have taken the next 1 hour just to talk on the essence of J.P. Clark and his place in Nigerian literature.
Ruben, that's a seminar topic of its own.
And that's a very big seminar topic. I mean, I hope the wives don't revolt.